hand it back.
Hello. I love the ideas that were shared, and I think you'll see a lot of similarities. Just what we were going through the case, I don't know if people are local to the tri-state area, but there is a resource that I don't have on these slides, but I think it's important to mention because I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed with the cost of everything. But their Reach has an access pass, and I believe it's like $75. Don't quote me on the figure, but it allows you access to 80 local parks, the zoo, museums nearby at a rate of $2. And I think you can bring up to 4 guests. So that is something I know my family invests in. And if we're having like a day that I know may be unstructured in general, because my son struggles sometimes in that environment as well, we might go over to like the Franklin Institute in the morning for 2 hours just to kind of get out, burn some energy, especially on like a rainy day. So having that, a pass like that really does like allow you to experience different things. And I think you're not investing hundreds of dollars every time you go to these places. So if you're only there for like an hour or 2, I think it meets the needs of your family and also isn't become cost prohibitive. So thank you, Susanna, for sending that link. Okay, next slide. All right, so I think we talked about it in the case, but also here, just want to reiterate, summer can be really challenging. It is a struggle in my house, even some holiday breaks, and kind of I think of summer as a long holiday break. And it's really easy to look at it through an Instagram lens, and it looks like everybody is having the best time and going on these magical vacations and having these beautiful days at the beach. But even neurotypical children struggle in the summer as well, right? It's a change of routine for everybody. There's lack or limited structured time at school if you do ESY or if you're in some other programming. And then camp availabilities that meet the needs of our kiddos and are inclusive are very limited. And just finding those, and sometimes they're cost prohibitive. There's just a lot of different challenges around finding a camp. It's not as easy as kind of doing a quick Google search and signing my child up for a sports camp. I have to have a little bit more consideration into that environment. How many kids? How loud is it going to be? Is it going to be hot? Is there air conditioning? You know, just a lot of different pieces to that rather than just picking a summer camp. And then the other thing I think is summer, right? Everyone wants to be out. So pools are crowded, the beach is crowded. If you go on vacation, there tends to be a lot of people as well. So navigating the crowds can be a challenge in and of itself. Next slide, please. Okay, so how to prepare. I am surely not an expert on this, but this is some of the strategies that my family has used. And I feel like we learn and grow every year in it. But just to reiterate what was in the case, and something our family does is build routine into the days. Anything that you can kind of make reoccurring. In our house, we have a rule that no one can turn a screen on until you're dressed, your teeth are brushed, and your breakfast is done. And that might sound silly, but it's created a lot less chaotic mornings in my household, just kind of giving even that small structure in the beginning of the day to start. And that's summer and school days as well. And then the other thing we like to do is make a calendar that highlights special activities, right? If we're going to go to an amusement park or a beach, or we're going to get ice cream one day, maybe highlighting that on a visual calendar, and then that child is able to see that. Does that take away the perseverating on that date? Not necessarily, but it does provide them that visual support. And something that I like to give my boys to do is we'll take the whiteboard and we'll cross off the days as they pass to kind of show as that special date is getting closer. We use a lot of visual schedules. When my boys were younger, it was very much around picture schedules, and now we've kind of moved on to words. We use them to get out the door in the morning. We use them to plan a day in all different manners, just to kind of keep everyone on track with what are we doing today? What's the plan? And again, just gives gives them a little bit of peace of understanding what the day is going to look like for them. And then consider your children's interests and look to build activities around those interests. We are a big train family, so we usually try to either go on the pack-go line or go on a train ride or plan a vacation around some sort of train experience in that regard. So work with your children and kind of just look like, what are they really interested in? I know the case we just talked about, they really liked animals, right? So if that was my child, I'm kind of thinking of, oh, can we go to the zoo? Is there a petting zoo nearby? Is there a community, a 4-H fair? You know, what does that look like? Can we go to the pet store and just check out the fish for a little bit, or go to an animal shelter, you know, kind of thinking of these events that are surrounded around their preferred interests. And then the other big thing is we talk about is like regressing on skills. So our children work really hard all year long to learn what may come easier to their peers. So how do we make sure that we're not losing access to those skills? So something to consider is maybe working with the teacher around this time of year and saying, hey, what is some work that we can do this summer? And scheduling a half hour, an hour, every day, a couple days a week, you know, whatever works for your family to kind of go over some academic refreshers. I know there are programs on the Chromebook, or in the past, my family's gotten worksheets sent home, and that's what we've done. Reading is another good thing. We'll go to the library, pick up some books, and we take 20 minutes each day to read the book. And I say we take 20 minutes each day, but sometimes that doesn't happen, right? No, nothing is perfect, and it ebbs and flows, but that's kind of the plan we use in our house. The other thing is if your child is going to a camp or an ESY, a lot of times the teachers are different than they were at school, even at ESY, and camp counselors might be people that your child is not familiar with. So if possible, if you can schedule a visit to that school or the camp. I know my son's school, they do ESY at a different elementary school. So it's a new environment for him. So when he used to go to ESY, we would take a tour of that before the school year was out. So he was familiar with it when he went to started ESY. Another thing would be same kind of concept with camp. If your child is going to camp, like we talked about in the case as well, getting a preview of that. Can you go for a day or meet the counselors? Can you tour the campgrounds? And just to familiarize your child with the place they're going to be. And then also something we do in our house is provide if it's a new teacher or new camp counselor, we provide them with a one-on-one of our child, right? What does he like to do? What are his interests? What are his things he doesn't like? What are his favorite foods? How do does he have some sensory support items that help him if he's having a rough time? Is there anything that would prevent him from having a good day at camp or ESY, and what that might look like? So just something to consider. Next slide. Okay. Ideas for managing day-to-day. Really important, I think, and I think we talked on it a little bit, is getting your family's input, right? So summer is 8 to 10 weeks, and it can go really fast, or it can go really slow, and there's really no rhyme or reason to how, like, we have some summers that fly by, and some summers I'm like counting down the weeks till we get back to school. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But for managing your day-to-day, I think getting the family's input is really important. Each of your children, I know even in the case we talked about how one sibling was getting jealous of the attention, right? So we don't want to plan our entire summer around our neurodivergent child. We want to make sure that everyone has a say in what we do, and to really make the best plan for the family. Another thing is knowing what time of day is best for your family if you venture out. I think that's different for everybody. I know right now we are morning people, but in the past we've been like late afternoon people, right? If we're going to go to a park or the pool, there's just certain times of day that are better for my family than others. So kind of trying to find yours, I think, is really important, and then plan those outings during the time where you know your family is going to be the most successful. Another thing is looking to social media for sensory days. I see a lot of them offered at trampoline parks. Sometimes a library can have a sensory day, an amusement park. Just kind of looking for those different outings where it might be low lighting, low crowds, etc. Sometimes there are discounted tickets as well that just might make those environments a little bit more inclusive for your family. Keeping in mind water safety, look to join a local pool or a lake to stay cool in the summer. I know there are a lot of different resources there. Splash pads are also great as well. Just a way to cool down and get your child outside and burn some energy. But sometimes there's not access to those either, right? So even just getting a pool and having it in their backyard, a sprinkler, etc., just like ways to access water activity as a way to keep cool and just as a fun thing for the kids to do. Water guns, all kinds of, there's all different water play that I think makes summer a lot of fun. The other thing is looking for local support groups. I know summer is a hard time, and I think it's hard for a lot of people, but sometimes it can feel very isolating, like you're the only one that's struggling. And I think if you can find those groups, you'll find that there's a lot of people in the same boat as you. And even using that group to plan like little play dates with each other, right? Like, let's all meet at the splash pad on Tuesday or Saturday, just finding your village of people to kind of help with managing that day to day in the summer. Other big thing is scheduling downtime. I think sometimes we think we have to go all the time, but really it benefits the whole family if you can kind of schedule a day, time in the day where everyone can kind of relax, whether that be we're reading a book or we have screens for a bit, whatever that looks like for your family, but not feeling like you have to schedule 12 hours a day each day. Other thing, keep it simple. Some picnic in the yard, building a fort in the living room or backyard, running through a sprinkler. Those are some of my fondest memories as a child, and I think our kids would really enjoy those as well. Okay, this is something I read about, and I think it's a great idea. Have a summer survival kit in your car ready to go. So think of like a little Tupperware container or a bag that just has some preferred toys and some clothes for your kiddo that will help ease their anxiety in the summer months. And you can really use this for the fall, winter, and spring as well. But I think especially in summer, we might be going to the park and all of a sudden we realize it's 95 degrees and we want to go to the pool and don't want to go home, right? So is there a bathing suit in the back and a towel that we can quickly shift where we're going and not have to stop back at home? Again, I might plan to take my child to the library, but for some reason it's really busy that day. And so I have headphones in my car that I can grab real quick for my child to put on to give him a little bit less anxiety with that experience. Sometimes it's really hot, right? A fan, cooling towels, just to have stuff ready to go to kind of get you prepared for whatever kind of comes your way during the day in the summer. Vacations. So summer is a big time for vacations, whether it be beach, parks, et cetera, wherever you're going to go with your family. I know in the past for us, I've gotten myself so worked up thinking how hard it's going to be that I kind of almost talk myself out of it. And I think with a lot of trial and error and going with a good kind of open attitude, we've done a lot better as my boys have gotten older, right? And different problems, different challenges, I would say, as they get older as well. But there's so many resources out there. And I think really if you do your research, there are hotels, there are parks, there are airlines that all offer disability accommodations. We recently flew and I got one of the sunflower lanyards that they give out at the airport, and my son wore that. And throughout the airport while we were getting to the gate, and then even when we got on, multiple people came in and checked in with us like, hey, does he need anything? Do we need, like, we got to the front of the TSA line, does he need to board first? Just I think like the visual reminder. I think airports have come a long way even in the last 10 years with recognizing those invisible disabilities. Another big thing is talking to your child prior to and during the traveling to really set the expectations and have them have an understanding of what they're going to do. I know something with our family, if we're going to go to a new place, I like to sit down, we talk about it at dinner, and then maybe I'll go over, I'll bring up some pictures on my phone to say like, hey, this is the amusement park we're going to today, and these are the kind of rides. Do you want to try a roller coaster? This is the food. I know this chicken tender looks different than our normal chicken tender. Are you okay with that? And these are the French fries. And this is the kind of the hotel that we're going to stay in and what it looks like. And do you want a pool at the hotel? Just kind of involving them in the planning, I think really helps ease the anxiety around traveling. Creating a social story is another good thing. So we kind of do that informally through taking pictures, but physically making a social story and like printing out pictures that they can carry with them, even checking off the steps of the trip while you're going through it. Like, hey, we got on the airplane. All right, now we're going to fly, and then we're going to get the rental car, whatever that looks like. Again, just to ease the anxiety of that unknown environment. When traveling with others, and I think just in general, when being with others over the summer, really communicating and advocating for your child's needs ahead of time, I think really helps everyone. It can be really hard to kind of communicate and advocate for those in that moment, but I think it really does make for a more pleasant experience for everybody. We've traveled just to the beach, and people have wanted to go out to dinner, like with 20 people at 6 o'clock at night after a day on the beach. And, when my son was younger, we used to go along with that, and it would be a disaster every time. And now we're kind of like, hey, you guys enjoy that. We're going to get pizza and sit on the beach, and we'll meet you back at the house later, or we'll see you at the beach tomorrow. We're going to do our own thing tonight. So whatever that is, just kind of advocating for you and your family really makes the trip so much smoother. Again, visual schedules, sensory supports, favorite snacks, comfort items. You want to have all that. Just like all the resources you have at home, whatever you can bring with you, kind of just makes that transition a lot easier. And the other big thing is if something's not working, don't force it. Have a contingency plan, right? So if someone wants to go to the pool and your other child is like, hey, I really don't want to do that, being willing to kind of stay back and kind of divide and conquer and provide your child those breaks really does make a difference and more enjoyable experience for the whole family. Next slide, please. Okay, resources. So I know we talked about the access by Outreach, and just looking in your community, check out your local library. I know most local libraries have a lot of different programming, Lego clubs, like a craft club, different events that maybe like an hour once or twice a week that could be really beneficial for your child. Again, those sensory friendly days and events, they're often not as well advertised as they should be, but I found a few call and ask. You can usually find that information out. A program local to the Jersey Shore is called Heart of Surfing, and they do a lot of surfing events, and then also even a day at Ocean City Boardwalk and different activities like that. Just really the goal of that organization is to make summer activities and different events accessible to children that have different support needs. Amusement park, concert venues, there's often disability access passes at different places, like anything from Disney World to the smaller parks nearby. If you ask, there usually is something there. My family recently went to Dollywood, and I wouldn't have thought that that existed there. And it was the most seamless process, and they couldn't be more willing to help us kind of navigate the day. And it was one of like the best times we had as a family. So again, just being willing to ask. I think most of these organizations and places, parks, et cetera, will surprise you in a good way with what they have to offer for our kiddos. And then also autism certified establishments. There's a number of them. We've been to events at the Link, and there's a big sensory room there, and different the Phillies has some sensory spaces now, and I know that's just local to, again, Philadelphia area, but a lot of those places exist in general. Again, a quick Google search or just calling and asking, and I think there's more access than people realize. And then also there's some specific travel organizations, Autism by the Sea and Autism Travel Club, that offer autism-centered supports in their travel. And then last thing really is to keep in mind that it's the summer, it's temporary. You're going to get through it no matter what, and you're still going to make some great memories with your child. It's okay if there are challenges, and don't let that discourage you. Challenges from last summer can really turn into next summer's wins, and don't let your past experience prevent you from trying things. My son had a summer where he hated water. And it was really long for all of us because I think it was an extra hot summer then, and we were really restricted in what we could do as a family. And the next summer, it was like that never happened, and he couldn't remember ever not liking it. And he's been like a beach bum kind of pool guy all the time, always wants to be in water again. So don't let it discourage you. Keep trying. Other big thing is make your time for yourself as the caregiver. Summer does come with different challenges, and it can be really stressful for parents, and you're always planning and thinking 3 steps ahead, and really just taking time for yourself when you can, whether that be reading a book or getting out to run an errand by yourself, or going away if you can, just really making time to take care of you as well. And other big thing is you may see behaviors or regressions during the summer months. I know in the past I've panicked, being like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Like, this is something that hasn't happened with him since he was in kindergarten, and he's in 4th grade. And usually, whether it be perseverating on something or you name it, we've been through it. Normally within a couple weeks of school, that tends to resolve himself. Kind of, it was just looking back like anxiety with probably not enough structure and stuff that we might have wanted to have in the past and didn't. And the last thing is enjoy your time with your child. Before you know it, we'll be back to September routines, and have a great summer. I think that's all I have. Anyone have questions?
There were not questions in the chat, but I think it's because everybody was reading and taking notes and listening. This is great. I know summer can be tricky at all different ages for all different reasons. And you're getting some applause, Monica. Thank you so much. So there is time for questions. If people want to drop some questions into the chat, we're happy to kind of hang on for a few minutes. So this is the end of this series for the academic year. So we tend to run our series from early fall. We let everybody get back into school, get back into that routine, and then we feel like maybe as parents, you'll be ready to join a session again. So usually around October, we'll start up our sessions, and then we run them until sort of the end of the school year. May is is a tricky month. It's a busy time. But we know June gets even busier with end of school. So take a few months break, enjoy your summer, everyone, and then please stay tuned, watch your emails. There will be some poll questions that are going to pop up for folks that are sticking around to just answer those questions. Those really help us in the summer as we plan the next series, topics to cover, questions to answer. We want to try and make this as useful for as many people as we can. So take the time to answer those poll questions. Um, and let us know what we can do, what you'd like to hear about, what we could do to make this better, more helpful to others. And then stay tuned, watch your email for the updated calendar invitations and Zoom invitations for the series next fall. We will be back.